Okay, Rob, I'm going to show you some exercises. I think that the next thing for you to do is to work on your back and your shoulders and your spine. So I've got 4 different things for you to do. Okay, the first thing is to sit in a posture that the standing version of which is called Wu-Ji, W-U-J-I. And it's very simple, but it's going to be hard for you to do. So, you sit with your back straight, your hands at your side, and you remember when we were doing Tai Chi, I was telling you that you need to be completely relaxed. That means your shoulders can't be tense, your elbows can't be tense, no part of your body can be tense. So you have to get used to it. So you sink your shoulders, just let them drop as far as they can go. And your elbows too, let them drop. And your hands, just let them drop. Okay, now what I want you to do is imagine somebody grabbing your hair from the crown of your head. The crown of your head is the part of your head, part of your skull really, which is the highest up. Okay, so the highest point on your head, not when you're leaning over, but when you're sitting up. Okay, it's a little bit back from the center of your skull, and that's important. So imagine somebody grabbing you by the hair and pulling you up like that. Okay, you should get a really nice stretch on your spine. Now, the way that you've been sitting for so long means it's going to be very hard for you to do that. And like all of these exercises, you're going to have a hard time doing them at first. But if you stick to it and you keep practicing them, then over time, you'll stop sitting like this, hunched over, and you'll start sitting more and more upright. And my goal with you is in probably not for 6 months to a year, you'll start to be able to straighten up and keep your spine straight. Okay? So the first one, you imagine someone pulling you up. It's like your skeleton, all of your bones have been hung up. If you can imagine a skeleton, like in a university class or something, they have a skeleton made of plastic or something, and they hang it from the ceiling from a hook. And you're just hanging there in midair. Okay? That's the feeling that you should have. Okay? So, you sit like that, completely relaxed. Okay? Now, you should feel the vertebrae in your spine, and the feeling that you should get is that they become closer and closer to being a straight line. So if you look from the back, see? It's a straight line. So the closer you can get to that, the better you'll be, because these exercises are mainly about working with your spine. And your spine is important for a number of reasons, one of which is it supports your lungs. And so when you're hunched over like this, you can't breathe in as much air as you can when you're sitting straight up. So the closer we can get you to sitting straight up, you'll breathe better, which will be more relaxing for you and better for your health. But the other reason why it's important to sit like this is because of energy. So you know in Tai Chi, we believe that the body contains energy, or Qi, which is released from the palms and the soles of your feet, and you draw it up through the earth, okay, into your body, and it's stored in your tantine, which is your center, which you can find by finding your belly button, your navel, and going 4 fingers down from it. Okay, so here's my navel. So 4 fingers down from it, that's where my center is. That's where the Qi is stored, and then it's released out of your body. Okay, when you're doing Tai Chi, that's what you're doing. You're releasing the energy from your body, and that's where it's stored. So we draw that up from the ground, okay, from the earth, and it's stored there, and then it's available for healing purposes, okay, so it can make you healthy, and also for self-defense. Okay? So it's very important for you to develop a straighter spine, okay, for both of those reasons. Okay, so Wu Ji, you sit like this. How long should you sit? Well, how much time have you got in the day? Okay, you should sit like this whenever possible, and that means when you're sitting at your computer, try to sit like this, the skeleton hanging from the ceiling, okay, and breathe into your abdomen. So, not up here, not like that, but down here. So you breathe in and breathe out, and your attention should be focused on that breathing. So you should feel, remember I talked about tasting the movements? The only movement that you're doing in this first exercise is breathing. You're not moving. So you should focus on your breathing. You can still watch videos or anything you want while you're doing it. It's best not to be doing something like that, because then your mind is distracted, and your mind needs to be in the moving part of the body. Okay? So that's Wu Ji. That's the first thing. Okay? Second and the third exercises are breathing exercises, and they're actually Qigong exercises, which means energy development exercises. So, the first one I want you to do is from Wu Ji, or whatever you can do that's approximate to it. I know that you sit hunched over a lot like this, so you're going to have to try to raise your spine. And if you do that every day, and you do it a lot, then in 6 months to a year, your back will straighten up, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel a lot better. So that's my goal for you, is to do that. Okay, so here's what we do. Okay, our hands are at our sides. Okay, we raise them like this, so the palms are facing the ceiling. Okay, and all we're going to do is raise our hands up like this, like you're lifting something, like you've got a book in each hand, and you're raising them up like this. And you raise them until they're right over top of your head. Not right over top of your head, but higher than your head and a bit in front of your face, so they can come down like this. Okay? And then you're just going to let them come down like this, like you're pushing something down. Okay? So here's how you breathe. Okay? Breathe in. Fill your lungs, and then when you start to come down, you breathe out. In. Out. And the longer you do this, you'll be able to breathe in more air. And especially as your back gets straighter, you'll be able to get more air into your lungs. So I'll show you one more time. Now, in terms of an energy perspective, you're raising Qi energy out from the earth into your body, and then you're kind of compressing it into your canteen, or your center here. Okay, there's some more variations on this that I'll show you another time. I just want to get you started on these, and then we can go from them. So the third thing that I want you to do is also a breathing exercise. It's a little bit different. So your hands are here, okay? And what I want you to do is form a cross with them, like this, okay? In front of you. See? It's an X. It's a cross. Being totally relaxed, as always, and putting your mind in the moving part of the body, which for the most part is the shoulders in this case. Okay? You're going to raise your hands up like this. Okay? Still in a cross, right? Right in front of your face. Your hands are in front of your face. Only now you keep going up and let them separate like this. Okay? And then they come down to your side. Okay? So your wrists are at shoulder height. Okay? And then bring them all the way back down like this to form a cross. It doesn't matter if it's left on right or right on left. You can alternate them or pick your favorite one. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we breathe in. And we breathe out. So these exercises are good for your shoulders too. It loosens them up and lubricates the joints so you'll get more flexible. Okay? And your neck and your chest and your back too. Okay? So I'll do it again. Okay? Form a cross. Okay, and an unusual thing, how many times should you do that a day? How much time have you got? You should do it as often as possible. There's no restriction. Don't do it, 5 times a day or something like that. Do it as many times as you can. The best time to do all of these is first thing in the morning when you get up. Before you have breakfast, before you do anything else, do these exercises. They'll invigorate you. They'll make you feel calm and relaxed because you're doing them relaxed. Okay? So you have to check yourself. Okay? And that means when you're doing this, let your elbows drop. Right? When you get to here, let your elbows, let your shoulders drop, okay? And just be totally relaxed. Your hands should feel like helium balloons, light, full of air. Okay? It's your shoulders that's making them move. Like that. Okay, the last exercise I'm going to do is one of our warm-up and stretching exercises from Wu Style Tai Chi. And it actually doesn't have a name. Its name in the literature is final exercise, because we usually practice it at the end after we've done shoulder exercises and wrists and ankles and all of that other stuff. So it's actually for your spine. And of all these exercises, if you don't have time to do all of them, I would say do this one first. Okay? Do it as often as you can. I think also of all of these exercises, this one is going to be the most challenging for you to do. But give it a shot, work at it, and what you'll find over time is that you get better and better at it. Even when I first started, I couldn't do this exercise very well. And it took quite a while before I could do it as well as I can, because my body loosened up. My shoulders loosened up, my whole body loosened up, and my spine became stronger from doing Tai Chi. So, go back to Wu Ji, okay? Somebody pulling you up from the crown of your head, okay? That stretches your spine. It takes the vertebrae and pulls them a little bit apart, which is very, very important for the energy. Okay? So, here we go. Put your finger and thumb together like this. Okay? And your fingers are just loose. So there's like a hole in here. Okay? So it's like a hole right through there. And then you take your thumb and your index finger. Okay? And you start, you'll have to start, usually start with our hands behind our backs, but I think you'll have to start from here. Okay? And what you do, okay, is you imagine yourself pulling a string with your thumb and index finger. So you're pulling a string. It's actually coming out of your center. Okay? You're pulling a string, and you bring your hand up so your thumb and index finger are at the same height as your nose. And my camera's a little bit lower than me, so it looks like they're higher than they are. Okay? But they should be. I'll try to line it up like that. Okay? Now, here's the hard part. I want you to twist your back. Okay? Now remember in Tai Chi, remember the principle? This is the hand leading the body. Okay? We never do that. Okay? It's always the body leading the hand. So the hand just stays where it is in relation to your body. And you just move it like that. You remember that? Okay, so same thing. So start turning this way, and your hand follows, and you look at this point here. Now, I was taught by my teacher that you have to imagine that there's a pea, a little green pea, sitting on there, and you have to keep your eye on it. I guess make sure it doesn't fall or something. Okay, so from here, turn, and remember, raise your head up, raise your spine as far as you can. I know you're going to have trouble doing this, and that's okay. The point is to get further and further over time and give your back more of a twist, okay, which is what you're doing. You're starting at the bottom and you're twisting it all the way up to the top. So here's how I would do it. And since I'm sitting, I can't turn all the way around. But then you point that down, okay? And let it drop. And keep your eye on it, which I'm not doing because I'm trying to talk to you. Okay? So I'll do it again. Pull that string. Raise yourself up, stretch your spine, and rotate your body as far as you can. Maybe you'll only be able to get to here. Maybe you'll only be able to get to here. Doesn't matter. The work that you're doing is going to loosen everything up, and it's going to make your spine over time become straighter. Okay? If it never becomes completely straight, that's okay too, because what you're doing is you're loosening up your spine so that the energy can flow, and that will help you in all kinds of ways. Okay? So, point it down, it comes back down. Okay? So do that 9 times. Okay? So but alternate with the other side. Okay? So here's the other side. Okay? Pulling the string, looking at your thumb and index finger, okay? Feeling the movement in your shoulders, okay? Tasting that movement. Okay? And then you come up to here, and then you rotate around, keeping your eye on here. And if you only get to here or something, that's okay. Just come down. Now, twist your body, twist your spine back to face the center, like that, and do the other side. Okay? You're giving your spine a twist this way. Okay? So then you twist it back to face this way. All the time, remember, trying to stretch it as far as you can. Okay? It doesn't work if your spine is compressed and you're hunched like that. You have to try as hard as you can. Okay? really try to stretch your spine up. Okay? Remember, nose height. And then when you reach this point, your shoulders should be, your body should be facing diagonally over there somewhere. And so you have to move it back. And when you do that, remember, lift your spine up, stretch it, and then come back. Okay? So I'll do it once without talking. Okay? So the movement is like this, and your spine should be stretched up. Okay? So those are 4 things that you can do. 4. So remember, the first one was sitting in Wu-Ji. The longer you do this every day, the better you'll be. The better off you'll be, and the better you'll feel. As you try to straighten your spine, okay, all the way to the top. Okay? And so the second exercise was breathing. Remember this? Okay. And this one. These are also working on your shoulders, so it's really important that your shoulders are relaxed as possible. Okay? You come down to the side like that. And then the fourth one is this one. Okay? So those 4 exercises, if you're faithful to them and you keep practicing, I know they'll help you over time, more so. I've learned of people who teach Tai Chi who work a lot with some of their students on the spine. I know I've heard stories of people who had problems with the vertebrae in their back, and over time, like over a year even, or even 6 months, their back problems went away. The important thing is your mind. Your mind has to be in the movement. And so if you're thinking about something else and talking to somebody, what you're going to do is you're going to start to slouch and slump a bit. And that's okay. That's going to happen. It's invariably going to happen. Even when I'm doing the exercise, I have to stop and think, am I still stretched? And then I just do it. Okay? So there's a lot of self-correction involved in doing this. And gradually over time, you'll get better at doing these, and you won't have to think so much along. And then you can really feel what's going on more and more. Okay, so there's something for you to do. You can do this all the time. Watch the video, pause it, do the exercises. The last one, the twisting exercise, do it 9 times on each side. Don't do any more than that at one time. It doesn't mean that you can't start it again in 15 minutes and do it, but only 9. The breathing exercises, you can do as many of those as you want. I think that what you should do is set yourself a realistic goal of starting with maybe, 3 of these or 5 of them or something, and then gradually work up to doing 10 or even 20 a day or at a time. And if you can do these first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and one more time during the day, like in the afternoon or something, you'll feel the benefits immediately, and they'll just get more and more deeper and more pronounced over time. Okay, so I hope these are something that you enjoy doing, and that I'm sure are going to help you. Okay, so